What's going on, it's the RapNerd, and I'm here to finally talk about Godzilla Minus One. It finally hit Netflix today, so if you haven't Netflix and you've been hearing about the movie like I have, it's on there to watch. And let's go ahead and discuss it, man. This movie was highly praised and highly discussed last year. And again, I never got around to it because of a lot of different things in my life. But I'm here to say the hype is real surrounding this film. It is easily the best Godzilla movie, depending on what side of the fence you stand on. But as a story as a whole and the way it works out, there's no denying that this movie is great. And I think it's the best Godzilla film. Not quite my favorite, my second favorite, but still the best. Getting to the story, it follows a kamikaze pilot named Toshi who flees World War II because he wasn't ready to commit to what a kamikaze pilot is supposed to do. So he lands on this remote island thinking that he's supposed to be safe and he's gonna wait the war out, but lo and behold, Godzilla shows up and wreaks havoc. So the story follows him from that point on after those events happen, and it makes for a rich human story, man, because off rip you see he's already guilty because he fled the war, but based on what happens on that remote island, he gets a double whammy of guilt. So you see him struggle with guilt the entire time, and that guilt continues to build and build and build as many events unfold in the film. And Godzilla is in the movie about as much as any other film that we've seen him in, but what makes this movie so good is the human story here, man. When he comes back from this island, Godzilla has already decimated the city he goes to. So when he gets there, families are forged because of the trauma that happens. Like, he ends up taking in this woman and a child because their home was destroyed, and they're not even related. Like, the lady and the child that he finds aren't mother and daughter. It creates this really cool and interesting human dynamic to see these characters kind of have to mesh together and play out a family even though they don't know each other, have no type of relationship at all, and you got to see it build from there, as well as having to deal with the real world threat of Godzilla. And in this film, right, one of the best things about it is it takes it back old school, where Godzilla is straight up a villain here. He is a tyrant, damn near a psychopath, just full on killing hundreds of thousands of people. And they make it clear from the first scene, Godzilla is scary as hell in this film. The first sequence we see him in, I kind of was taken aback because I was like, oh shit, like this is that old Godzilla. And the film is so great because if no one has ever seen Godzilla or knows anything about him, this film is a starting point. And I love that it goes down the path of the scientists and military men getting together, figuring out a way to defeat him, as you've seen in all of the old Godzilla films. So I really loved how they updated something so old and brought it to a modern day time, still keeping it within that time period. Like, this movie is a time capsule of the 1940s when the World War II was going on, and they do such a good job with the production design to really put you into that world. And man, when Godzilla does strike, it is an event. It's scary. The camera puts you right in the middle and in the thick of Godzilla on the attack. It's crazy. And speaking of Godzilla, man, the VFX here are phenomenal. I really want to watch the behind the scenes footage to see how they were able to do this. The movie was about 15 million, if I believe, and it looks like it cost a couple $100 million, which is crazy. Like, you could put this film side by side next to some of the other kaiju films and it works as is. The cinematography is beautiful, and it's not even the shots with Godzilla, it's just the simple shots that don't get recognized a lot. Like, there are these really nice wides of the open sea of the boat, just kind of in the middle, and it looks like a painting. And there's just a lot of shots that look like that are just framed and even color graded so beautifully, because the film is shot with nothing but natural light. They're outside a lot. Even in the inside shots, you can tell that there's not really much manipulation to the light, and I really love that about the movie as well. And I love that they used the classic score in the film. It really hits hard in the moments they do use it, even though there is an original score as well in the scenes that don't call for it, but they use the classic joint when Godzilla shows up, and oh, it gives me goosebumps. Oh man, all of the hype is real. I will say that. I don't want to get into too much more in order to save spoilers from folks who haven't seen it, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who haven't seen it, whether it be in the theater or even purchased it VOD. I was holding out for the Blu-ray. I was just gonna straight up buy it because the word of mouth for this thing was crazy, and it is 100% worth the word of mouth. I'm gonna get on the Steelbook when it does release, and is a fantastic film. So if you've seen Godzilla Minus One, let me know in the comments what you think about the film. Where do you rank it as far as Godzilla movies? And as I've said, it's literally the best Godzilla movie in my opinion. My second best favorite is still Godzilla 2014. That just fits what I like a lot, and I love what they did with that story, and even with Godzilla and the cinematography, all of that. I can talk about that movie as well. But anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.